Hey, Coach. Thanks, Rob. Hey, Coach. How nice was it to take the field last week, up 7-0, before you start calling plays?
That was good. That was obviously a big play. It was a great start. Didn't have to do much to get points on the board. So hats off to the defense.
And just from a morale standpoint, how good is it to have Kevin back in the building today?
It's huge. He's such a presence around the guys, and he was greatly missed while he wasn't here. So having him back is big for us.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Tom. Nate Ulrich is next.
Hey, Coach, just what was the feedback that you got? After calling the plays and the Browns' first playoff win in a long, long time, and just what was your Sunday night, Monday morning like?
Yeah, Sunday night was kind of fun. Just it was a little surreal at that time. It didn't really set in for a little while, but driving back, from Pittsburgh, just reading texts from all the friends and family that had reached out. That was good. So I just really tried to get back to everybody, let them know I appreciated their wishes, and it was a good feeling. Anytime you could help contribute to a win, especially a playoff win, after the week that we went through, it was a good feeling. Good night.
Thank you, Nate. We'll go to Scott Petrick.
Hey, Coach, we've talked about this throughout the season, but it seems kind of even more appropriate when you play an offense like the Chiefs. So when you set up the game plan, how do you kind of balance controlling the clock versus being aggressive versus taking what the Chiefs defense gives you?
Yeah, it's a fine line, but the bottom line is we just need to be us. Our best drives are the ones where we possess the ball and take them on long drives and convert on 3rd and 4th down and end up in the end zone. So that's something we've done pretty consistently throughout the year. So it's ultimately going to be important to choose some clock and then score points.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Mary Kay Cabot is next.
Yeah, when you look at the matchup and you've got Patrick on one side and Baker on the other side, this seems to be shaping up to be quite the QB show and the offensive highlight game. So what do you think of Baker having that opportunity to go up against Patrick?
Don't really see it that way. I see Baker going up against that defense. That's how I'm focused in on right now. Just getting him ready. That defense presents a lot of challenges. They have some really good players. So just getting him ready to play that defense. The other side of the ball will take care of itself. But it's exciting. But at the same time, we're just singularly focused on what we could do as offensively, to score points and possess the ball.
So you don't sense that Baker has that feeling like, that he wants to show something when there's a guy like that on the opposite side of the field?
I think so. There's probably that little bit of feeling, but at the same time, Baker just needs to continue to do what Baker's been doing up to this point, and I think that'll be just fine for us.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Jake Trotter, you're up.
Yeah, Alex, you said before the Pittsburgh game one of your goals was to prevent Kevin from throwing anything at his TV. You calling plays. Did you achieve that goal?
I think so. There were a couple ones that obviously at every game you'd like to have him back, but I hope so. I hope he was proud. It was funny just talking to him afterwards. Some of the formational things that we were in later in the game, he knew the play because it was a specific formation. So he kind of got a tip off there just on the formation of what play was coming. So it was kind of cool to talk to him afterwards as he watched it, but he was tuned in, he was locked in, and I hopefully he did him proud.
You guys scored 48 points. Did he still try to give you a hard time at all?
No, as quick as it happened, it's over, and it's now we're getting ready for a team we haven't seen in a while, a new defense after 2 weeks of watching Steeler film. So it was really quick to flush and to move on to Kansas City.
Thanks, Jake. Marla Ridenour has our next question.
Yeah, Coach, I know this is old news, but the 40-yard pass to Chubb, I mean, is he underrated as far as, his abilities and on those kind of plays?
I don't think he'd be underrated in my mind. He had a huge game in the pass game for us. Obviously, it was a big day for him. But any way you can get him the ball in space, whether it's handing it to him or, throwing it to him in the pass game, it's all positive for the offense.
And just one quick thing, when you were talking about the friends and family, so I take it you took advantage of them driving you to Pittsburgh. Is that what you did?
I did, yes. I had a drive or two and from the game. So it was good just to sit back and answer some texts and talk to some friends.
Thanks, Marla. Nate Ulrich, you're next.
Coach, I know we haven't had an update on Joel Bitonio yet, but what kind of lift would it give you if you got him back? And in the meantime, how are you guys gearing up? Obviously, you've continued to have injuries there.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. Michael Dunn, first off, did an outstanding job in the game. Really, really proud of his play, his effort. Really a highlight offensively for us in that game, which was awesome. I think Coach Callahan, Coach Peters, especially Coach Peters, all the work he did with him through training camp, staying out early, or staying out late, coming in and out early, and just working drills, working his hands. It really paid off in that game. So that was huge for us. Getting Joel back, obviously, would be big. Hopefully that'll be the case. We'll see here later in the week. But Joel's a huge part of our success offensively on that left side, and to plug him back in there would be huge for us.
Thanks, Nate. Tom Withers, go ahead.
Thanks, Rob. Alex, I kept thinking about when the Steelers got within 12, that 3rd and 2 play from like the 28 where Baker hit Jarvis, who turned it into about a 17-yard gain. We've talked about Jarvis a lot, but how comforting is it to have a guy of that skill set in that moment to make that kind of a play?
It was huge, and it was one of those ones that on the call sheet, and you look down, it just kind of jumped off at you because Jarvis is really one of the primary receivers on the play. So, there's all saying in coaching, in times of crisis, think of players, not of plays. So let's find a way to get the ball to 80.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Mary Kay Cabot, you're next.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk this week, even from Kareem, just about how much this game means to him going back to Kansas City. So just wondering, I'm sure you guys will pretty much stick to what you do, but when you have a guy like that, that's going to bring a little extra emotion into a game, how does that impact your decision-making or game planning?
I think we'll go in with the, similar style that we have. Those guys will split time and we'll rotate those. And Stump always does a great job of keeping those guys fresh. So I don't think there's any change game plan wise as far as getting more touches. Obviously, when he does catch the ball, you'll see a guy that's playing with some emotion. And then on the backside of that, you got to be careful not to be too excited, too hopped up. You have to focus in and do your job, which I'm sure he'll do.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Back to Scott Petrick.
Alex, speaking of Kareem, have you ever seen him run harder than he did on those couple of touchdown runs in Pittsburgh Sunday night?
Yeah, it's such a great run there when he makes contact on the 5 and drives his legs. The thing, obviously, it's a great run. The thing I like most about it was seeing Jack Conklin and Jarvis trying to finish him off. And that's really what we've talked about all year, is being there for your teammates, following the football and finishing every play. And that was a great illustration of that Sunday night. But yeah, those guys, both of those backs, man, they just run really hard. They're tough to take down one-on-one. And even in situations where you do get them, they do a great job with their legs of driving for those extra yards. It's really been impressive to watch.
And it really seems like Austin's been targeted much more over the last, few games. Is that by design or just defenses playing you guys a little bit differently?
A little bit of both, I think. Tight ends are generally the quarterback's best friend, closest to him, big targets. So I think you can see, it's advantageous to pick those guys out in critical situations. But Hoop did a great job, made some big plays for us when we had to have them.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Marla Ridenour's next.
Yeah, one more thing about Jarvis. I know you've only been around him for a year, but it's obviously Baker's the unquestioned leader, but where does Jarvis fit into that? Is he supporting Baker? Does he talk much, as far as the leadership?
Yeah, for Jarvis, obviously very motivational. Anytime he speaks, he demands respect, and guys listen immediately. He does have a voice on the offense. He is definitely a leader of the offense. When he talks, I listen. So he earned that, he earns that, and when the time comes, you call his number, he makes plays.